TF2 is a game that I deeply love and deeply appreciate, and one that I am very sad to see that it is in the state that it is in 2024. I've been playing TF2 since 2012. I got introduced to it by my classmate at the time who uh, just like downloaded Steam for the first time ever and invited me over to try out this new game that he's been addicted to, and he thought that I would love it as well. Um, Back in the day when I first played TF2, I was very skeptical of trying it back then because the games that I used to play were never really the type of game that TF2 wasn't part of the type of game that I played back then. Mainly 3D and 2D platformers and and mainly Flash games because I just had a horrible computer. It couldn't even run Half-Life 1 properly. But my friend at the time, he invited me over to play TF2 on his PC, and that's when I made my first Steam account, which I don't really use these days all that often, but that's beside the point. Made my first Steam account then, and then I proceeded to go every single day to his house to play TF2, and I clocked my first 300 hours of TF2 like that back in the day. It is a game that I kept coming back to throughout the years over and over, quitting, coming back, over and over. But since around 2017, TF2 has been on a downward spiral in terms of playability. It started with a little known thing at the time called catbots, which only at the time, it was a small thing. It infested one type of map, so most people, what they did was they just avoided queuing for Harvest, because that's what they queued for. However, 7 years later, need I remind you, 7 years later, TF2 has become completely, utterly unplayable. If Zesty Jesus' video wasn't telling enough that TF2 is in a bad state, and the millions of save TF2, fix TF2 videos that you've probably seen all over YouTube, Twitter, other social media, Reddit, hell, even the Steam forums if you like going into that hellhole. If all of that isn't a sign to you that TF2 needs help, then I don't know what is. I love TF2, and I want to continue to be able to play one of my favorite shooter games of all time. TF2 is something I've also been on a cycle falling in love with and falling out of love. TF2 is a game that I would sometimes play for months on end. It would be the only game I would invest in. I would play competitive. I would play casual. I would jump around from community server to community server, like either those 24/7 Hightower servers or jump servers, what have you. I would play all of it. One of my fondest memories of playing TF2 was going on a little niche server called Dispensor's Fun Server to just goof around in for hours and hours on end and meeting the regulars that kept coming back to that place over and over. I'm very sad to see that DFS has shut down these days, but I was a regular there from about 2017 to 2019. It was like my favorite server to play on. The amount of memories I've made with this game, the amount of people I've met in this game, and to see that you have a coin flips chance of queuing into a match of TF2 and it being infested by cheater bots that spam the mic, spam the chat, and aimbot all over. It's just not great. There's another problem with TF2. A problem that's probably been around for much, much, much longer than the bot crisis of TF2, and that's the cheating pandemic in TF2. It's always been an issue with TF2. It's just now that it's gotten insanely fucking bad. Cheating in TF2 has always been a big problem because the anti-cheat almost never worked. I'll tell you that much. The anti-cheat for TF2 almost never worked properly. And you would see the same human cheaters going around server to server rage botting and just killing everyone, being obnoxious and racist to absolutely everyone that they encounter with. And they try to put on this guise of like, we're better than you because we can pay $20 for a cheat and just destroy any and every game that we join in. It's bad. It's bad. This video is completely unscripted. All of this I'm saying is coming straight from my own thoughts, from my own heads. I don't even have any notes put up to talk up this stuff over or like to think things through. I played a couple of matches today as of recording this video of TF2. I played TF2 for a solid 2 hours, and the amount of bots I encountered in those 2 hours in Valve's official casual matchmaking servers is insane. And I've even encountered some human cheaters who tried their best to hide it, but they couldn't. They couldn't because they got caught out pretty much immediately. And it sucks. I miss the days when I could just open up TF2, queue into a match, and either do some insanely goofy shit and just have a great time, or I can try hard and sweat my ass off and rack up those kill streaks, all without feeling like every single kill every single time I die, every single time some enemy player gets a kill, but I have to question immediately whether or not that kill was legitimate or not, whether or not that guy was cheating or not. I hate the fact that my experience with TF2 has devolved into not being able to trust anyone at all, because it feels like a coin flip's chance whether or not someone is cheating in TF2 at this point. So, this unscripted small ramble is going to be my contribution to fix TF2. I know the community has tried fix TF2 in the past with save TF2. 2 years ago on the date, literally today, 2 years ago, the first ever protests of save TF2 started. And I know that it was a flop. Everyone memed it to hell, including bot hosters. And this time I feel like is going to be no different. You can already see millions of well, not millions, but like you can see most bot hosters already poking fun at fix TF2. But we need our voices heard. We need to do something about it. If Valve won't listen to their community, to people like Zesty Jesus who have put in a tremendous amount of work with his collaborators into exposing how horrible the bot situation has gotten, if they don't listen to their millions and millions of players, that things are bad, if they don't listen to everyone, that TF2 is in an unplayable state, then I don't have much hopes for the future of TF2. I already know that Valve has put TF2 on the back burner of back burners. TF2 these days only receives small patches or seasonal cosmetic cases, and that's probably the worst part. Valve continues to push out monetary paid content for people to spend their money on, and the things they have done to fix the bot crisis have been just negligent at most. Their attempted fix a couple years ago with muting new accounts from being able to talk in-game did nothing, because all the bot hosters needed to do was just spend $1 per Steam account to unlimit those accounts, and they can spam voice and text chat all they want. They've also given us, like, alright, you can tell me that, like, alright, they've given us good positive things, like being able to cast 2 vote kicks at the same time on opposite teams. Wow, that's great. They also gave us tools to turn off text and voice chat within the game. Alright, wow, that's great. As if that's going to solve the problem for everyone. Because it feels like Valve's perspective on this whole thing just feels like, well, if you don't like the bots, just don't listen to them. Which is, it's not the way to solve this problem. The way to solve this problem for Valve would be to take a more active approach against the bots. No other solution will fix anything. So, Valve, you start taking actual, tangible action against the bots, either by banning those Steam accounts directly. You receive reports from them constantly about the bot accounts. You improve the anti-cheat so that these bots get banned faster than once every 6 fucking months. Or you just straight up delist TF2 at this point. Like, I am... At this point, if Valve does not want to put in any effort into maintaining TF2, if they don't want to do anything to fix the bot problem that's been going on for 7 fucking years, then at this point, just delist the game. Because I don't know what else can be done about the bot issue. This problem is so frustrating. I deeply love TF2. Even 12 years after I first played it, I still hold many fond memories of this game, including of when I just first started out. I hold many fond memories even today of playing TF2 with my coworkers and just going on Powerhouse and just staying there for a couple of hours, memeing around, shitposting together. I still love Team Fortress 2, but the way things are being handled now with TF2, not receiving any tangible updates, the bot crisis not being handled whatsoever. At this point, Valve, if you don't want to fix the game, kill the game. There are many solutions other than the drastic one that I just proposed of delisting TF2 that Valve could apply. Why can't they take a page out of their own game's book, which is Counter-Strike 2? Why can't they implement a better, quote-unquote, premium feature for TF2? At this point, things are so bad that I would not mind if premium TF2 was a separate thing from, like, buying a item in the Manco store. At this point, I wouldn't mind if they introduced a Prime status thing for TF2. Like that competitive pass that they made. Why not turn that into a Prime pass or something? I don't know. Maybe people will start actually buying it and raise its price to $15. Now, of course, this would come with a caveat that every single account that owns Premium right now should get that Prime status by default. But any new accounts should just need to spend the $15 to gain access to better servers where you can ensure that the people you're playing with have paid for it, and like it would be more costly for the bot hosters to spend $15 per account. But these are just completely drastic suggestions that I feel like would nuke TF2 entirely. So it's just my like doomer brain for in regards to TF2 thinking that like at this point let's just become Counter-Strike. And Counter-Strike has its own problems. I am well aware of the cheating issues in Counter-Strike. I know. You don't need to tell me in the comments that Counter-Strike isn't doing any better. I know. I played both games, and I see how bad the situation is in both games. That's my contribution to the Fix TF2 movement. I didn't participate in the previous two movements because I did not see the point in them. I was surprised with the first Save TF2 movement that we even got a tweet from Valve regarding the state of the game. I am surprised we even made it that far, but seeing as how things 7 years later and 2 years after the first Save TF2 have not gotten any better, at this point, I am just throwing shit at the wall. Valve, do your job and fix Team Fortress 2. The game cannot continue in its current state. Man up, ladies.
Feel it.